maybe some bears like outside of the street playing balalaika and drinking vodka.
They might intimidate you or something like that. So now you have to try your first Russian vodka shot.
You didn't pay?
No, I didn't pay. I told her I'm not paying for that.
This Russian gopniks. Hello everybody, my name is Sasha and welcome to my channel. And today I have a guest here.
Hi, my name is Brandon.
Yeah, and he's from America, right?
Yeah, pretty crazy.
You can tell us from where you came from and what you're actually doing here, because we're now guys actually in Russia.
Yeah, my name's Brandon. I'm from America. I'm from a small state on the East Coast called West Virginia. Graduated last May and started working, and I wanted to spend some time abroad and do something that not many other Americans get the opportunity to do. So
you chose Russia.
Yeah,
Okay.
I chose Russia.
Like why? I mean, because it's not so common, for foreigners that they're coming, for example, to Russia, or for example, we also have Finland near us,
Right.
So to these countries. So what was the main, kind of decision, like why you decided to do that here?
Difficult to explain. At first, it was because of a now ex-girlfriend, but after that happened, I wanted to do this for myself anyway, and kind of set myself apart from other Americans and be different, be unique. And, I think coming here definitely sets that standard of, being different. So
definitely.
Yeah. So, I mean, how often do you hear of Americans coming to Russia?
Yeah, I think not pretty often. Like
exactly. So it's,
1 in a million.
Really. So, I think, it's definitely a huge change, but I recognize that if I can accomplish this for a year, I can accomplish anything anywhere. So.
But definitely before you came to Russia, you heard lots of stories about that country, about people here, about that we have maybe some bears outside of the street playing balalaika and drinking vodka. So what stereotypes actually and myths you heard about Russia?
One thing I was told was to just be careful because Russians might take advantage of me because I'm a foreigner. Russian, I guess, guys can be a bit aggressive maybe, and they might intimidate you or something like that, but I haven't really experienced that other than the situation.
So you mean this Russian gopniks, how we call them, this in very bad districts maybe, or when it's dark,
right? Exactly. And so like that. And then another one, which I noticed when I got here, but I think it might be kind of for all of Europe, and I don't mean to offend anyone by saying this, but I think people here don't have very good teeth. I think my conclusion was that I think dental care here is expensive, so most people don't go about keeping their smile and in America, it's really quite common that at 13 or 14 you go to the orthodontist and get braces. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really matter the price. It's just very common in America that you get braces. Mm-hmm. I have them. Most teenagers get them. But I think here it's not so common because the price is maybe a little too high for...
You mean that it makes your teeth straight, right?
Yeah, if they're crooked, then the braces will make them straight.
But lots of people just, I think don't sort of need them. For example, I thought that I also had not quite cool, straight teeth, and now everybody will look at my smile. But then when I visited the doctor, they just said that, for my biting, for my eating process, it's cool. So if I want to make it look maybe more straight and aesthetic, then I can do that, but in that case it should be fine. You didn't hear any stereotypes about that, people drinking vodka here too much?
Okay, that was what I was gonna get to, was that Russians love vodka, and I experienced that my first weekend. I met a guy at an English speaking club, and he was he was one of the few Russians, because there was actually a guy from Great Britain, Colombia, me from America, and other people from different parts of the world and a few Russians. But in my group there that we were talking to, he was the only Russian, and we all went out, and I told him, show me where all the cool bars are. And he said, yeah, we have a bar street off Nevsky, I'll take you there. And so, right when we got there, he was like, so now you have to try your first Russian vodka shot. And so we went ahead and did that. And so, yes, of course, vodka, I affiliate that with Russia.
Okay, did you like it?
It was strong. It was very strong. I hadn't drank vodka in probably maybe a few weeks, but
a few weeks.
Actually, no, it had been exactly 1 week. I'm lying. It was exactly 1 week because we had a going away party for me when I 2 days before, and so we had vodka there. But still, seriously, I felt a difference between vodkas we have back in America. Just cheap vodka, and then whatever I got at the bar here. So I noticed a significant percentage in the alcohol difference, and it was very strong. It hit me really hard. It took my breath away.
Did you eat something? Because usually we have this sort of tradition that when you're drinking vodka, you also need to, take maybe some cucumber or...
Yes, had the cucumber with it.
Okay.
Yes.
Then you did really Russian way.
Yes. It was... that was my first Russian vodka shot, so I hope I have many more.
Okay. So what do you think, what is then the main, because you probably, how long you stayed here already?
This is my third week.
Third week.
Yeah.
So you were able already to notice some advantages and disadvantages of this country. Mm-hmm. So what are these for you? How you defining? What you defining?
Advantages, for me, everything's cheaper here. I can go out and have a meal at a restaurant for $4 or $5, and in America, you're not going to go out to a restaurant and get a meal for anything cheaper than $10. Everything's usually going to be $15, and you have to tip the waiter or waitress in America, usually 20 or 25%. So if I'm paying $15 for myself, I'm usually paying $20 because I tip. Here, you don't have to tip. So,
but it's kind of you don't have to tip, but these waiters, they're making mostly, their salary out only of the tips. So for example, I think they are receiving per hour maybe 150 or 200 rubles, so that's actually not that much here.
Okay, well now I feel bad. Now you're making me feel bad that I haven't tipped, but I think I would be broke if I tipped because I go to a restaurant pretty much every day because it's so cheap. I eat my breakfast and either lunch or dinner at home in the apartment, and then either lunch or dinner I'll have out in the city just because it's so cheap. So
okay, so the first advantage that it's cheap.
Yes.
Then
second advantage, I think your guys' at least in St. Petersburg, the public transportation is very good and reliable. I'm from a small city, so I can't really speak much on public transportation, but I think overall the quality of public transportation in Europe is better than in America. So
and it's cheap as well, right? It's 40 rubles. How much it can be in dollars?
It's the bus that we take to the metro is 34, right?
Yeah. And because we live in the cheaper, I think, district. So we just live with Brandon in actually we're neighbors in their next building.
Apartment neighbors, yeah.
Yeah. And we have this really cheap bus which costs 34 rubles, but usually around the city the price is 40 rubles. So yeah, but it's still I think less than $1.
Right. Yeah. I think $1 is 65 rubles.
Mm-hmm. What do you personally like here?
I like the architecture of the buildings.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't see anything like this here in America. Maybe in some cities there's little parts of a city, like in Boston, very historical city. There might be small parts where there's some older architecture in the buildings, but in America everything's more modern, and so we don't have this European style architecture, and it's really unique to me coming from America, that I'm surrounded by this all the time. And when I send my friends a picture of my family or post on Instagram, some of my friends always text me, like Church of the Spilled Blood.
Yeah.
My friends all think that is such a cool building. You won't see anything like that in America. Anything like it. It's just skyscrapers.
So you're raising followers out of it.
Yeah.
Okay. What about disadvantages? What you don't like the most here? Negative parts.
The first thing, I guess, when I went to a restaurant and I asked for water, they tried to charge me 200 rubles for water, and I was like, I'm not paying that. Like, in America, water is free at every restaurant. It's actually a law. It's actually a law that if you go to a restaurant and that restaurant serves alcohol, which is every restaurant, water has to be free. So that's what I usually get at restaurants, especially if I'm by myself, is just water. And so coming here, and the lady charged me 200 rubles. I said, I'm not paying that. Like, that's ridiculous to pay for like 6 ounces of water.
Yeah. You didn't pay?
No, I didn't pay. I told her, I'm not paying for that. You can take it off my check. She got her manager, and I said, listen, I'm from America, man. I'm not paying any money for water. That's ridiculous. You need water to live.
Wait, they didn't even give you like the water in some bottle, so
she
it was in the glass.
She didn't understand. I just asked for cold water in a glass, and she brought me out the sparkling water, which is, I guess, was the difference. Was the But I didn't know. I didn't think of it either.
People don't know sparkle word here.
Yeah. Yes, another thing to add on top of bad restaurant service. I'll go to restaurants, and sometimes it'll take. I time it myself because I'm curious how long it takes them to come and get my order, and sometimes it takes 10 minutes. And in America, the waiter, and this is maybe why I don't tip also, because if they're gonna take 10 minutes to come and get my order, you know, I'm gonna pay based on the quality of service I get. So in America, if someone brings me out my water instantly, and they come back a minute later after they're done with their other tables, get my order, which is how it is in America. It's normal, They have, waiters and waitresses have a select 5 or 6 tables that they're given each night. And so they just stick with those 5 or 6 tables. But here, I think the waiters and waitresses can be all over the place. And so, they lose track of, the people, I think, easier. And so sometimes I'm waiting like 10 minutes for an order, and I'll have to say,
can you come here?
Is Venetia, I'm ready to order.
I was also thinking out of it now that, is it a disadvantage for you that lots of people actually in Russia are not able to speak English?
Oh yeah, of course. My expectations when I came here, I really thought probably around 50% of people would speak English in St. Petersburg because it's a big city. Mm-hmm. But I think now that I've been here, my percentage is probably down to 10 or 20% at most. And so I really thought at least every other young person would speak English for sure. I thought in schools everywhere they learned some
Basics,
English. Yeah, but really I think it's probably around 10 or 20% no English, and it's kind of, that was a shock to me because I really thought at least every other person, at least young people, would speak English.
What about people itself, because I'm pretty sure that here it's more, different than in America, because I heard so much, I haven't been in America myself yet, but I'm going to, but I heard so much stories that in America people everywhere are smiling, they're trying to be super helpful. What about here? Because we have this stereotype, which I heard about Russians, that we're not smiling ever. Right. So we're so grumpy and stuff.
Right, and that might also contribute to the teeth thing. People generally don't smile here as much, so maybe they don't feel the need that they need to have a good smile, but it's whatever. I guess in America most people are more helpful. I think if you're lost, you can ask anyone for directions and it's no problem. On my second day here, I had got my luggage from the hostel, and I needed to go to eat, and then some lady was going to pick me up so I could go to my apartment. And I asked this guy for directions. I just said, "Is Venetia?" And then I had on my phone the translator exactly the question I had, and I showed it to him, and he just walked right on by me. I was like, okay, cool. I'll just go. Yeah.
Probably he just didn't know how to explain it to you, and...
Oh, he didn't even acknowledge. I just literally pointed and I said, "Is Venetia?" And then he just didn't even acknowledge me. He just walked around by. But I was like, okay.
That's true.
Okay. It was an older man, so maybe that.
Okay. But what are the difference for yourself? How are you, as American, you think that Americans are all, are more open-minded or
Probably.
Yeah?
Probably. I mean, obviously there's going to be people everywhere who are going to be more open and closed-minded, but I think the overall general consensus is, in America, people are more open-minded, I think, than here. So, sometimes here I'll try to have a conversation with people if I'm by myself, not with a friend or anything like that. And, I'll say vy говорите по-английски?
Говорите.
Yeah, and they kind of look at me weird, and then they're like no, or so, and then they look at me like I'm an alien. So, but I think in America, especially if you're a foreigner, we really like that. Mm-hmm. We take interest in that because, and for the most part, we don't have foreigners in America. So,
but how do you even meet people here? I mean,
I just talk to people.
Yeah, in the streets.
Yeah, or at a cafe or something. I'll just talk to them. And try to practice my Russian a little bit. Ask them if they speak English. Okay. Maybe one out of every three can speak English, and then usually they take an interest in me and will want to hang out. Mm-hmm. I go to some English-speaking clubs, and it's obviously there.
Because, for example, for myself, it always feels so weird. Well, maybe and uncomfortable when somebody is coming to talk to me or get to know me. Also that's how we met. For example, you also came to me and asked my name and stuff. And literally myself, I'm freezing at this moment. Even if it's not foreign, it's some Russian, for example, guy will come and ask me something to get to know me. I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm starting to act super, I think, arrogant, even though I don't want this. I understand myself that I should smile, I should say, that's so nice, that you came and blah, blah, blah. But it's maybe, it's just working as a protection that, I have my own space.
Comfort zone. Yeah,
comfort zone, right. So that doesn't feel natural maybe for me. And so it's different in America, right? It's just so easy to...
You can talk to anyone in America and they'll talk back. It's not a big deal. For me, I'm pretty open. I'll go up to anyone if I think, they're interesting or I want to talk to them. Just I'll talk, and if they don't want to talk back, they're lost. But if they make an effort and then want to hang out and do something in the future, then good for them. They should. I think we should try to meet as many people as we can, because you never know in life the connections you might have in the future. People could live somewhere, you might visit, free place to stay, just anything, So I think it's important to, keep people close, keep your friends close, and meet as many people as you can, because, I think it's a bad mentality to just, and I think this is kind of more of a Russian way, to only keep within your close group of people, and not be open to meet new people, because I think it's just good to meet people anywhere. Why not? What's the harm?
Well, you sort of just as Russian, I can say, it feels sometimes that you're just wasting your energy. Because, for sure, I like to meet new people, but sometimes when you're just having so much stuff going on, your work, you're studying, some other things, you just feel that when you have these free moments, free time, that it's maybe cool just, to meet with your close friends, best friends, because you already know what to expect from them, the model of communication. And of course, with some new person, you need to build this up, from the beginning, this kind of connection and this friendship and whatever. So,
but that's what makes it interesting for me is the unknown. I don't know this person. I don't know their life story. I don't know their history. So, why not learn it that way?
Okay. What about, because you told that you dated with Russian girl in the beginning of this interview? You told us. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to ask. What's the difference, main difference maybe, which you notice between American and Russian, relationships? How they even start, how they're going. Is there much difference, in that aspect?
Oh man, I think Russians, or maybe just Europeans in general, but also Russians here. I think they just add such a different aspect of life you're not going to get from an American girl. Because with an American girl, it's pretty typical that they just like to watch Netflix most of the day, maybe probably go out and drink on the weekends, party. But it's pretty typical. They don't there's not something that extra spark, you know. I think foreign girls, and they bring an added value of life to what I know in America. So, you know, it's interesting for me, and then, you know.
So kind of just having more interests, or?
Yeah, just a different, they come from a different part of life I would never know before. So like I said, it's the unknown. You know, with American girls, I kind of know what I'm getting myself into or what to expect. And I'm not trying to like say all American girls are just basic, you know, but I'm just saying there's just something, I feel like there's something for anyone who meets someone from a different country or culture it's just something different about them, you know. But
like how even relationships, for example, even started, for example, how you do that in America, and was it different with Russian girls?
It's so much easier with Russian girls. I actually dated 2 Russian girls, so in America, so it's so much easier with them, you know. They just want to hang out and have fun and do stuff. But the American girls, they like to play games, and sometimes, you know, they don't really like to hang out. They just kind of like to lay in bed, watch Netflix, then go out and drink at night, but they don't like to hang out and really do stuff, or they just stay with their close girlfriends. But sometimes it's a little harder with them to like break them out of their shell. But foreign girls, you know, I've had no problem. They just want to hang out and have fun, you know.
So it's happening like even faster maybe with Russian girls.
Yeah, it can happen faster.
Okay, because I was thinking the opposite, that Americans, you know, you're just so kind of easygoing, and, you know, you could just like, you know, in the second day say that you're already a couple. That was what was I thinking. And you're just telling me that it's completely different, and it's like, you know, literally just blowing my mind.
Well, maybe my 2 experiences while I was seeing the Russian girls just went extremely well, and maybe, I don't know, Russian girls just they like me, but for me it's just easier with them compared to American girls, because I don't know.
In Russia, a man usually like supposed to pay for a woman. Be honest.
No,
Would you like to live in Russia instead of America? I think that for foreigners that is completely crazy, you know, all of this.
Don't even get me started. It can't be because of me. There's no way it's because of me.